I'm Dylan Boyden.
I'm Josh Saunders.
Tear your tickets, take your seats. It's time for popcorn.
You can reserve your seat every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can check us out on Facebook at our Facebook community page, facebook.com/groups/the PopCulturists. And you can also submit us questions for this podcast, www.thepopculturists.com/questions. And if you feel so obliged, please head over to patreon.com/thepopculturists. Check out the tiers there. There might be something there that interests you.
How have you been?
Great.
Good.
I'm sick.
Oh, me too.
Head cold.
I've got endless phlegm coming out of my throat.
Really?
Yeah.
I just got a head cold this morning.
Oh.
I know when I'm going to get it because the night before I get it, I sneeze all the way up until I go to bed. Like, you know, like every 30 seconds. You know how you like sneeze 3 times and it's like, that was weird.
Yeah.
And then it keeps going. You end up doing to yourself, you know, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's like hiccups.
Yeah, so I had that. So that was cool. I'm alright otherwise.
Oh, that's good to hear. What have you been watching lately?
Game of Thrones, obviously.
Oh, so Game of Thrones.
Me and 40 million other people.
Yeah. Do you know a lot of people that watch Game of Thrones, Josh?
Yes, because I don't talk to people that don't watch Game of Thrones.
That's good.
That's how I filter. That's how I filter my friends' circle. Especially when you're like meeting new people. Game of Thrones. Nah. Oh,
yeah, I don't watch that.
Never gonna talk to you again, am I?
Yeah.
But the only movie I've watched this week is a 10-year-old movie known as I Am Legend.
Oh, Will Smith.
Yeah, it just happened to be on. Where did I even see it? I think I just plugged in a USB stick and it was on there. I'm gonna watch that now. Wow. So I did, and it's a great movie up until about 2/3 through.
What happens 2/3 through?
When the mother and the son show up, I feel the movie takes a significant kind of plunge in the stakes, you know, and I don't know. The whole thing, like, you know, man versus everything, and then he's not alone anymore, so it doesn't feel like he's ever in any real danger, and it takes away the tension, I think, because they're not around long enough to give a fuck about. So you couldn't care less if they died or not. Dog, on the other hand, many a tears shed for that dog there.
Yeah, the poor had to choke it out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I I remember watching it in the start, like just watching him live and go through New York City, and it's got like half jungle. Yeah. There's like deers running around, everything.
The CGI didn't age well.
Okay, I haven't seen the deer
at the start. He's chasing like all these deer, and he finally corners one. He's ready to shoot it, and then like lions come up and kill the deer, and it didn't.
So you're like, deer, and they're like, oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear.
But did you see the Batman versus Superman symbol?
I do remember seeing that. I didn't see it when I watched it this time, but I remember seeing it, you know, on Reddit or whatever.
Yeah, they had like the Batman. I think it was just like a normal Batman logo, but it had this Superman Returns kind of logo.
Yeah.
Crossed over, and then it eventually happened.
Yeah. I think there was an earlier iteration of the film called The Omega Man.
There was with Charlton Heston was one.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there was one with Vincent Price in the 60s as well.
Okay.
What does I Am Legend mean, though?
Means he's a legendary actor that deserves many Oscars.
Well, in the originals, as far as I'm aware, I've seen them once. I haven't read the book.
Original.
In the Charlton Heston one I watched, I didn't watch the Vincent Price one, that he is the legend because the society is all of these. In the movie, they're like these CG monsters. They don't really talk, do they? They're just like hordes of zombies.
No, they don't, yeah, there's hordes of zombies, but there is, I think in the I Am Legend movie at least, there's one intelligent one who like traps him.
Well, they're kind of like, because there were originally like vampires, but they didn't want to use vampires, so they just changed them to like they can't go out in the light. They have white skin. They wear robes. And then they hear this rumor of this person that exists, and he's kind of like Blade. He's like the Daywalker. He's the one that goes out and hunts them. Yeah. But I don't think it really relates to the new one. It's mostly just CG mummy monsters going crazy.
Yeah. The CG takes heavily away from the film, but thankfully a lot of the tension just comes from not seeing, but you know, hearing. You know, when I think the first night he's like in the bathtub with the dog, like sleeping, and you can hear outside. You hear them running around, and you hear them making all these fucked up sounds and running over the roof and stuff. And that's when, but the camera doesn't move from him and the dog; it just slowly zooms in.
Acting.
And I think that was that's when it's at its scariest.
Yeah,
I find that with a lot of horror films too. Actually, they're at its scariest when you don't see and don't know what is
when
happening.
you kind of you imagine what you think it could be.
Yeah,
you
it's
put
much
your worst
scarier.
fears on it. Yeah, and then you
then
see it and you're like,
it's like, oh, okay, that's not really what I. Yeah.
It does have one part that I remember that it was like, yeah, if I ever lived in a apocalyptic future or I was alone trapped on an island, he kept playing massive beta tapes of like the Today Show and things in the morning, and would just have it running in the background, to kind of feel like there's a world out there. Yeah. That's why I like just having horrible shows like MasterChef or, I guess MasterChef or My Kitchen Rules. Yeah. They're horrible shows.
Reality shows.
But yeah, because it's current and it feels like it's happening now. So it feels like there's a world out there.
And it's
even
not
if it
acting
was
at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of reality. It's kind of people talking naturally. So it feels like, the room's full. So you just play it in the background, go about your business, which he kind of did. Yeah. I really like that part.
Yeah. What about you? What have you seen this week?
I went and saw Terminator 2 Judgment Day in 3D.
Oh.
Yeah. Couldn't not see it.
Don't need a big discussion about Terminator 2.
Not really, but the movie holds up. Like, you watch it, and it could have been released this year, and you wouldn't know it. Like, there's not that many things that make it 90s. Like, the kid's got a mullet, the friend of his, John Connor's friend.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it looked amazing.
Really?
And it's got a lot of depth because that's what James Cameron does with his 3D. It's not things popping out, it's the depth. And there's so many incredible shots with all the, like, skeletons in the cars and the playgrounds burning and all these different things, and the Terminator right up the front with its eyes right against the screen. There were only two things that I noticed that they changed. There was this part where the Terminator goes off the motorcycle and then lands to kind of catch up with the truck. Yeah. And for the longest time, they had a actor wearing like a Arnold mask.
Okay.
And it didn't look too bad until it got to a certain point where it got close up and it looked fake. And they've CG'd Arnold's face on that.
Oh, okay.
There's another part where
did they get him in the studio and make him pretend to be riding a motorbike for like 10 seconds to just clip the face?
They probably just took old footage from somewhere. And there was another part where he lifts John Connor off the bike, right with the trucks behind them, and they CG'd his face on there as well. But I did look up
his face on there.
Because the stuntman again, it was the same stuntman with the
mask. Oh, okay.
But the one part that I didn't notice it was changed in it is there's a part where the truck jumps off with the T-1000 and lands and smashes, and James Cameron's like a nut for getting things right and just gets shitty if anything goes wrong. Yeah. And they crashed the truck, and the windshield burst out and landed on the ground. And then the next shot, they wanted to keep the windshield to hide the T-1000's face. So there's a part later in the chase where he bats it down.
Right, I remember.
So they CG'd this windshield to stay in
really?
And kept going. But those are the only changes. And it was the theatrical cut, wasn't the director's cut.
Okay.
So there's a few bits that weren't in there.
Were that
but
good?
It was good.
Yeah. Do you know, is it in cinemas for a while?
I think it was just the one weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Shame.
Pretty sure. Shame. But it was awesome. The other thing I saw was, which I was keen on seeing, the Dark Tower.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've heard... It's probably you and I think 3 other people I know have seen it, and 2 of you have said, well, I don't know what you're going to say yet, but 2 have said it's okay, and the other one has said it was excellent and he really, really enjoyed it. So where do you come down on it? Because I've said before, I read the books 15 years ago, maybe less, maybe more, I don't know, and I really, really enjoyed them. So I've got in my head this image of the Dark Tower world, and I don't really want to see the movie because I don't want to spoil my perfect image of this series.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence about seeing it.
But can I spoil the crap out of it?
Well, I know what happens.
Spoilers.
I don't know what happens in the movie.
Well,
I don't know what they've changed.
Which is different.
Anything, so.
I was excited to see it because I'd heard a lot about the Dark Tower. It's this thing that I haven't got into. Not big on reading, so I didn't have a chance to read 9 books or 7 books or 8 books or whatever it is. So I was excited to see this, and then I heard bad things about it. So it feels like a kid's movie.
Really?
Like, I don't know. It was a lot like Terminator, where there's a kid in it, and then he's got this guardian who's like the main hero, but it's really told through the kid's perspective.
Okay.
And I can't remember the kid's character's name, but I did a bit of Googling after it to find out what had been changed. But essentially it's like a never-ending story, or those kind of kids' family movies where the normal kid goes into the fantastical world. So it starts in New York, and there's the kid, whatever his name is, Jack, I think. And he's having these visions of this other world. He has these nightmares and draws all the pictures on the wall, and he's having the visions of the Man in Black, which is Matthew McConaughey, and his name's Walter.
I think, yeah.
Walter in the thing.
Yeah.
And then he sees a vision of the gunslinger.
Roland.
Yeah, Roland, but he doesn't know who he is. And it's supposed to be, I thought, fantasy and sorcery and stuff. But then there's also a lot of technology in it.
Kind of sci-fi-y.
Kind of, yeah. Like it's kind of like there used to be a civilization of technology, then it became more sorcery. But essentially, this kid is dreaming of these people. They're like rat people, and they have skin that goes over their bodies to look human. And they try to take him away, and it's called, what's it called? Keystone Earth.
Yeah. And
so you've got the circle of the universe, and the tower's in the middle, the Dark Tower, and then these lines that separate the different, I guess, realms or realities.
Yeah.
And each of them are supposed to have a power line that keeps the Dark Tower up.
Yeah.
And essentially, the man in black is stealing children who have the shine, which is like in The Shining, the ability to read people's minds or have powerful psychic abilities.
Yeah.
To put them in a machine in a chair, and it shoots out their energy and it attacks the Dark Tower. And once the Dark Tower is destroyed, all evil can come through. Like
it
demons and
sounds
monsters.
so lame when you describe it.
That's
like
how they
this.
present it to me, though.
Bad.
Yeah, so I imagine it's like this long sprawling saga, because I read in the Wikipedia like, this is it, but you don't find this out till here, and you don't find this out till here, and you don't realize he's this person till here, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then Idris Elba comes into it, and he's not charismatic. He's just meh.
Oh, really?
I thought because he shoots guns, there'd be some cool gunslinging.
Yeah. Well,
But he pretty much just shoots things. He just like bam, there's the light. Bam, there's the wall. You know, he doesn't... And there's very little towards like trailers tease where he like throws up a bullet and catches it or reloads quickly. He like drops some bullets in there. And I'm like, what?
Oh, that's well, I was going to ask you, like, as far as... Because what, tickled my scrotum when it was announced is that Idris Elba is the gunslinger, and I was like, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
That's fucking rad.
He's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. He's a great actor. Have you seen Luther?
No.
Great.
Yeah.
I highly recommend.
Yeah,
I think it's on Netflix. I highly recommend. Sure. But, and Roland as a character, he's not a very charismatic character. He's very kind of grounded and, this is what I need to do, and I'm going to go and do it. I'm not going to fuck around.
Yeah.
But he does have... the character, even though that's the way he acts, he does have a lot of depth to him. Did you feel that in the movie at all? No?
He's a bit of like, they tried to like shoehorn his father dying into it. And the man in black has like this persuasion over people, so he can be like sleep or stop breathing or whatever. And it doesn't work on Roland for some reason. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, that's a thing. But a lot of the time I was watching it, I was remembering other things from other Stephen King things, like The Shine. Was because I know the Dark Tower was written after most of his other books, so he kind of used this to bridge them all together in a multiverse. So The Shine is from The Shining. The Man in Black, I remember watching The Stand, and there was a guy who wore black, but his name was Randall Flagg or something like that. And Stephen King said it's the same character, but whatever. Okay. And he could make fire in his hand, and that's what Matthew McConaughey does. They had a Pennywise theme park, like Pennywise the Clown from It. There was a poster from the Shawshank Redemption, just little hints like that.
So they did do a lot of like Easter egg kind of. In there.
Whether they're building a Stephen King universe with like It and things coming out now.
I hope they don't.
But yeah, it was like, okay.
Did McConaughey nail it?
No. Because McConaughey's awesome now. He's having a reconnaissance, but he was just like scouring villain.
Okay.
So that was a bit lame as well.
That's what I was worried they'd miss, is the depth of the characters.
Yeah. Well, it's like, very much a whole story.
Act 2, Act 3.
Yeah, and then it's over at the end. Like you could never watch another one and you get the idea.
That's the thing, when you got a book series that's 6, 7, 8, 9 issues or whatever, that's a lot to slog through, but you get all that time with the characters to slowly build them up. Think like, Harry Potter.
Well, that's what they could have done.
We literally watched them age, the Harry Potter kids, and we saw their arcs and we got attached to them and we hated them at times and, all of that. And that's what happens in, the Dark Tower as well. You got all that long time for build up and character and I really didn't think they could get that into one movie.
Excuse me. I think what they did is they tried to make it for audiences to be accessible to not knowing anything about this. Yeah. But then dumbed it down for people who do care, and it kind of met this middle ground where people didn't really care, and people who did care got upset. Yeah. The other thing is the main kid in it, apparently in the first book, The Gunslinger, there's a point where he has the choice of pursuing the man in black and getting to the Dark Tower to save the day and killing the kid, or letting the kid fall. And he decides to let the kid fall and go for the destroying the Dark Tower, or keeping the Dark Tower not destroyed. It's so dusty in here.
Because like I said, he's no nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. And that showed it was a big turn for him to show that he's determined to save the universe, not just his kid.
Yeah.
And then it was a big thing in the book where that kid died, and that got him to this other realm, Midworld. And then later the kid comes back, and it's all about reincarnation and things like that. But the other thing the fans were saying is he has this horn of Eldon or something. And that shows that in the final book, spoilers, it's like a loop, like he'll always continue doing this. And so he's already gone through the storybook line, and now this is kind of set after the events of the Dark Tower, but retreading the same things.
Oh, it's a cop-out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cop-out.
So they're kind of like, we can do what we want, Star Trek reboot, but it's kind of still Star Trek characters.
Yeah, because it's, written into the canon.
Yeah, and there's so many awesome moments that people say are in the books that you just can't get there now because you've F'd with the continuity.
Yeah.
So there's no point in continuing it unless you reboot it again.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it was all right, but I wanted to get into it so much that I'd be like, I have to know more. I want to know more. I want to read the comics. I want to read the books.
You did learn more. You did actively go and read more about it.
And maybe I'll go check it out. If they made an anime or something, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
They could fix it somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it definitely would have been better as a TV series than a movie.
Yeah.
Like a Netflix series.
Yeah.
Netflix jump on everything now.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, missed opportunity.
That all you've seen for the week?
Yeah, that's all I've seen so far, except for, of course, Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that later.
later.
Ryan's going to join us for that as we have a full-blown discussion about the Season 7 finale. But until then, this is a segment we call the trailers.
News.
I thought, what were we naming all the segments?
The news is what we call the news.
Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with news.
What do you got for me this week?
So, we discussed this the other day a little bit, and then we discussed it with Ryan last week because it kind of broke, but the Joker origin movie has been officially announced.
Yay.
And they've officially said that now they're making these pocket movies outside of the DCEU.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's dumb.
Yeah?
It's dumb. Yeah, I'm a large DC fan. People know that. But I'm not a fan of their movie universe. They don't know
That's why they're doing this.
They don't know what they're doing. Did they say in this whatever you've read that it's not tied to the current movie universe?
It says they're making DC films out of its already established universe. Okay. Starting with the Joker.
So this won't be tied to the current DC.
New actors, new directors, new producers.
They've lost the plot. They've lost the fucking plot. They have. The biggest appeal of the Joker is you don't know his origin story. He doesn't need one. There's been things hinted, I think the Killing Joke hinted very heavily at his past, but I don't remember which iteration of Joker said this in what form of media, but it's something that's what I like about the past. Something about the past I prefer it to be multiple choice.
That's the Killing Joke, yeah.
The Killing Joke, yeah. So, you've read all that about the Joker. Oh, that's how it happened. And then he says that, and it's like did it though?
Yeah.
And that's how he feels like it happened today.
The same with the scars in The Dark Knight, where he's like, you want to know how I got these scars? It's different every time.
Every story is different,
yeah, exactly.
And that's the appeal of that character. He's probably, dare say, I might be wrong, the only major superhero / supervillain that doesn't have that definitive origin story.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so incredible. Even towards the end of New 52 in the comics, Batman gets in the Mobius chair, which is this all-knowing, you ask it a question and it gives you a straight answer.
Sure.
So, he tested it, but like, who killed my parents? And he's like, that guy did, I forget his name.
Joe Chill.
Chill. And he's like, whoa, you're right. And then he says, who is the Joker? And then they left on this big cliffhanger. And then the Mobius chair comes back and says, there are 3 Jokers. And Batman's like, what? That's impossible! But that's the thing as well. It's like, well, the Joker doesn't have an origin story. The Joker's past is so shrouded in mystery that even the Mobius chair couldn't be like, it's this dude.
Yeah.
The all-seeing, all-knowing thing in the universe, So trying to give him a definitive origin story is just... It's like, whoa, Joker's popular. Let's fucking squeeze the tits of that cow.
That's pretty old. Like 2008, the Joker was big. They kind of did the same kind of thing in Gotham, where there was that guy who was very clearly the Joker. He had the red hair and he had the big smile. And oh my god, it's the Joker! And then he died. And his Anarchy kind of left a legacy of people graffitiing the city and smiles and things, and it might inspire the real Joker or other Joker-style people.
That was a fun way of teasing it in Gotham, I think.
I liked it in Gotham.
Kind of clever. You know, you're not going to get the Joker, but we're going to,
like a little hint to it. Yeah. But this is like definitive. We're making other movies, and we're starting with the Joker. They're kind of just like, what do people like? Joker movie.
But it's not even like definitive because it's not part of the established.
It's
movie
like these
universe.
Elseworlds things where it's like a what if kind of tale.
Yeah. So then people are going to see Jared Leto as Joker in the main main DCEU. Because the reason the DC team or Warner Brothers, whoever, didn't want to use Grant Gustin from The Flash for TV and have him in the movies because that'll confuse people. No, they said they wanted it separate. Yeah, you got TV universe and you got the movie universe.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, that's just going to confuse people because, the casual movie goes going to be like, oh, The Flash. Well, The Flash? Well, which one is which?
Yeah.
And now they're making it even worse by there possibly being 3 versions. It's like, well, that's the TV Flash, that's the DCEU Flash, and that's the outside of the DCEU Flash, who's not Ezra Miller or Grant Gustin.
Well,
someone else.
Or if then they're like again, and then there's a 4th Flash and a 5th Flash and a different version.
But it works for the Flash in a way because of the whole
Infinite.
What the Flash is. He's it's part of the Speed Force and all of that.
But then they could do different Wally Wests and
there's a bad example to use the Flash, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
the casual moviegoer is going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Marvel have it nailed. They really do. This is Iron Man. This is the only Iron Man you're going to see until his contract runs out, or whatever else happens. But they don't have this Iron Man. They don't have Idris Elba Iron Man. They don't have Matthew McConaughey Iron Man, and they don't have Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. It's Iron Man.
But even then, like Fox are a little bit different with the X-Men. But Logan kind of felt like that kind of movie where it was like, it is linked, but it's its own story and it doesn't have to relate. Deadpool kind of like that as well.
Yeah.
And I think DC are like, well, we didn't follow the Marvel thing. Let's try and do Fox. So these are some facts.
Even with Fox, they use the same actors.
Yeah.
For the most, Hugh Jackman in whatever iteration of Wolverine you saw in a movie.
Yeah.
It was Hugh Jackman.
But if Heath Ledger was still around, I don't know if he'd come back to do these things, but they would have milked the Christopher Nolan ones, or kept Christian Bale and Heath Ledger for years to come.
Yeah.
And that changed everything. Yeah. So these are some facts that we know about this Joker origin movie. So it will star a new actor in the role, whatever age he might be. It's supposedly, originally it was, I believe, announced that it was directed by Martin Scorsese. It's just going to be produced by Martin Scorsese. Directed by Todd Phillips, who directed the Hangover movies, Road Trip, comedy.
Red Flag.
Yeah, and the all-new origin story is believed to take place in the 1980s and be a gritty and grounded, hard-boiled crime film.
I'm cool with the gritty and grounded. That's fine. The Joker is as they showed you can have a gritty and grounded Joker in The Dark Knight, yeah?
Yes.
No funny powers, no chattering teeth, no flower that squirts acid in your eyes. It was a crime movie. Yeah. It was a crime drama.
Yeah.
That just featured a batshit crazy guy.
Yeah, just
who did normal batshit crazy things, robbing a bank. Elaborate as it was, just robbing a bank. You know, he's just doing this and destroying the establishment and all that kind of stuff. I'm cool with that, but I don't agree with it on every level.
Well, that's all right, because if you don't like the origin story, guess what they're making as well? At pretty much the same time they're organising this.
Oh yeah,
a Harley Quinn versus Joker movie.
Now, is this in the DCEU or the non-canonical DCEU?
This one is in the DCEU. Well, at least it's going to feature Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie versus Jared Leto.
That's the rumour, yes. How do you feel about that?
Where does that fit timeline-wise in this?
Doesn't matter.
It's got to be versus, then it's got to be after whatever we've seen happen. Because
they were kind of buddies
Squad,
at the end.
He broke her out of prison.
They had a falling out at first, though. Like, she was independent of him initially.
In Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
And then he was always trying to save her, and then
she got caught by Batman and thrown in Arkham.
But I thought she was angry at him because
she was angry because he hadn't come to save her yet.
Okay.
But it wasn't like, I never want to see you again. She's still
together at the end.
She's still put in, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't not like the Harley Quinn we have in the comics now, where she actively beat the shit out of him and said, never speak to me again.
Yeah.
And then she's never seen him again. It's not like that.
So you think it's going to be set after... Because Suicide
has
Squad
to be.
2 is a big one that they're pushing as well. So it's kind of like making Iron Man and then Avengers and then making Guardians of the Galaxy and then making Guardians of the Galaxy again. 2, like straight to those ones. It's an odd order.
I've just lost the faith in the DC movie universe.
That's rough. You love DC.
I do. I love
for
everything
life.
about DC. The
Except
comics,
the
the TV shows, the graphic novels.
But it could work like the DC animated movies. They're in different tones, different styles, different stories, different actors.
But it's animated is not movie. I mean, you got an animated movie, but it's not AAA big budget.
Yeah, true.
Cinema.
But then
movie.
you could do so many different things and explore different. But everybody would be
But
like,
you're just going to confuse everyone.
I'm just going to keep making Batman. Everyone's going to make a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to Warner Bros. Like, I want to make a
solo Aquaman
cyborg,
film.
different cyborg movie.
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, but Marvel have set the precedent for superhero movies, so now deviating that is even more dangerous because
Well, they're trying. So they got to try something because they're like, we've got these multi-billion-dollar
they
franchises.
should have just taken the Marvel approach. There's no shame in iterating on something that works already.
Yeah,
Except,
I'd be happy
push
with
your
that.
pride aside and go, Marvel did this. It worked for them. They did really well. We're going to iterate on what they've done. Not ignore what they've done and pretend it didn't happen and try to do our own thing.
And then you get what you get.
And then you get this fucking mess.
Have you ever found the Joker to be funny?
As in, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, like you laugh at the things he does.
In the animated series, sure.
Yeah, like just like that was like laugh out loud funny.
Yeah.
Not like ridiculously, but like
in the animated series, he's got so many good one-liners.
Do you think that would work in live action?
No.
No?
No.
You'd like him as more as this dark kind of psychotic character. Well,
the animated series has a different vibe. You know it's not going to be. But the animated series is pretty dark and gritty for what it is.
Yeah.
But it's animated. There is room for some quips and some jokes, and but it's.
But would you like to see an all-out funny Joker?
Like a comedy, like
because there are episodes like
The Hangover or the Road Trip.
Maybe, who knows? But like, you could have like a buddy movie like Due Date or something where it's Joker and Harley Quinn trying to get somewhere, and he's not trying to kill people and just kind of get to A to B for some reason. And they're just tolerating
It'd
each
be
other.
fine with killing people and stuff because that's the character.
Oh yeah, that too.
I feel like that could be written pretty well. It's like a Harley Quinn and Joker road trip.
Yeah,
and it's just them quipping, just being dumb. A lighter tone, but still the murder and stuff.
Well, that's what this could be because they announced the directors, and it's Glenn Ficarra and John Requa, who are a directing duo who directed Crazy Stupid Love, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, I Love You Philip Morris, and Focus.
I've only heard of one of those movies.
I Love You Philip Morris was this comedy with Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor where they were like in prison and they were a gay couple.
Okay.
And it didn't go anywhere. Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell and Julianne Moore and Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Like a romantic comedy. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot was that one with
Tina Fey.
That's
the one I know.
Just recently. Yeah. And then Focus was the one with Will Smith and Margot Robbie. So I think the connecting tissue there is they're Warner Brothers people. They've worked with Margot Robbie and they've worked with Will Smith.
Yeah.
So they got the job. But it's all comedies. Like comedies.
I mean, it could work, and I'll see it anyway. like I will every DC movie. I'll see it anyway because they might be fucking awesome. Like Wonder Woman was amazing.
Yeah,
maybe they.
They got there, and now they're doing this crap. They're like, it's like the Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2. It wasn't that bad, but they're like, you know what? We're gonna call it, give it to Marvel, and it worked out well. But I don't think it was worth calling quits on.
Yeah.
And this as well, like Wonder Woman's brought it back. They must be so. Why not wait for Justice League to come out and then announce this stuff? That loses all confidence that Justice League is any good.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Speaking of
Can we move on from this news topic? Because it just makes me cross.
Goodbye. The only other news that I had for Ryan Betson, outside of the billions and billions and billions and billions of different Warner Brothers news, is that Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. So Kevin Smith made Clerks and had Jay and Silent Bob as characters in it. He is Silent Bob. Jason Mewes, his friend, is Jay. And he had a success with Clerks, then he had a success with Mallrats was like his studio movie, didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Came back to his roots with Chasing Amy.
Though, yeah?
Cult classic. Yeah, I'd say it's cult classic, but it's still not very good.
Okay.
Ryan. And then he had Chasing Amy, back to his kind of like indie roots. Then Dogma, then Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and had a few other movies after that. Don't have time to name them all. But now he's going back to the well. So he's wanted to do Clerks 3 for a long time, which are movies about his personal life and kind of the characters of Dante and Randall representing himself and where he is in his life.
Now, isn't the reason that's not going ahead is because Ben Affleck's not in on it? He doesn't want Ben Affleck doesn't want in, or
Dante and Randall, and the actor that plays Randall didn't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
So Brian O'Halloran, whose signature's up there, he wanted to do it, but other person that I can't remember his name for the life of me didn't want to do it. Oh. So Clerks 3 was out.
Yeah.
So then they decided, all right, we're going to do Mallrats, which is a sequel to Mallrats, and do it as a Netflix series. There are all these pictures of the actors he'd worked with doing like the two. So he had Stan Lee there, he had Shannon Doherty, had Michael Rooker, all these actors up for it. That didn't happen either.
Oh.
So he's like, all right, we'll go back to the well a third time and do a Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie. So Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back essentially was Hollywood's going to make a movie out of the characters. Because it was a comic book in the universe. Yeah. And they travel across to Hollywood to kind of stop this from happening, and chaos ensues, like a road movie. And so this one is a kind of like they're going to reboot the movies, and they do the same kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's saying that it's going to be shooting in spring of 2018.
Woo,
it is happening, but I don't know if it will.
Do you feel like those characters will be funny anymore?
Well, there's a cult audience
they were very much a product of the time, weren't they, Jay and Silent Bob?
I think Kevin Smith was a bit ahead of his time in that it was all comic book references, Star Wars references.
Yeah.
And then the world kind of in the late 2000s caught up to that. And now he's on the pulse with doing like podcasts. He got into that early as well. So he's kind of always a little bit ahead of his time. So
we're going to be seeing
the
future of movies from this.
Well,
maybe.
he could have the best satire of reboots that changes the history of cinema. Maybe that could be the potential. Okay. That's probably the best that could come out of it. Otherwise, it could be a fun movie. The thing about the Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back is there were a lot of cameos in it, and even then, he had Will Ferrell in it before Will Ferrell was like a big. Thing. Yeah. Before Old School came out. So, I don't know, it could be good. He's got a lot of connections. Old School.
That's a great movie.
He's got a lot of connections, and he hasn't had a falling out with Ben Affleck, but he knows a lot of the Hollywood kind of celebrities, and he could get it in for a fun cameo-filled ride, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I was just wondering, obviously he'll be Silent Bob again.
Yes.
Just because I've never seen any of them.
Wow.
It's just wondering if they would still be, relevant, funny characters in today's day and age, in today's version of movies.
Yeah. Well, I think because
we've kind of seen everything up to this point. If you know what I mean? That's why we get the reboots and all of that kind of stuff, is because we've seen, how many more new ideas can be out there that haven't been done before in one way or another.
Very few these days. You'll see sequels, you'll see remakes, and then
they try the prequels.
1 out of 10 is a original story.
Yeah.
But I think with him, I don't think reboots have been kind of spoofed before. Like, you've had the Scary Movies and the Airplanes and the Hot Shots and things like that. But aside from perhaps Johnny English, there was Johnny English, and then they had a Johnny English Reborn, and that was kind of like the rebootish kind of thing. It could be like a rich thing that hasn't been explored yet. Okay. So we'll see.
Maybe it'll be the movie to get me into that universe.
Speaking of getting into universes, have you heard of the land of Westeros?
I have. I'm quite intimate with the land of Westeros.
Have you heard of the land of Esteros?
I have not. I've heard of Essos.
What about Tetesteros?
I have Tetesteros.
Well, then you'd be excited to talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and I know Ryan is too, so I'm going to go get him, and then we will continue the show as we talk about spoiler-filled Game of Thrones Season 7.
Season 7. 7, man. That's crazy. Wow, that was quick. So Ryan's here now.
Hi.
Ryan's faster than he looks.
Nimble. I'm a fat, nimble man.
Agile.
Speaking
I ninja flipped, like cartwheeled in the desk.
Game of Thrones. Woo.
Speaking of fat nimble men,
You thought-
Sam
you thought-
Tarley, eh?
Yeah.
He's quick.
Hey, he can cross distances fast.
Right, so how do you want to approach this instead of just going and this bit and that bit and that?
Well, that's Dylan. That's Dylan's skill set.
Let's just do that. All right. Well, season 7. How many episodes did it run for? 6, 7,
Seven.
7 episodes.
Your
But-
butt's very squeaky today, Josh.
Not my fault.
But there were like a lot of episodes that, like, the last episode was an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a long episode the episode before, I'm pretty sure, as well.
50 minutes. It averaged between 40 and 50 minutes.
My question
I didn't
first
know
up
the
is why don't they just put them out
50
into
to 60.
Well, there was one that was like 40. It was the big battle on the field because, like, yeah, we blew our budget. This one's 20 minutes short.
We can't afford any more.
we
Well,
physically can't.
It's
can't
been a
fit
pretty
any more on this
epic
episode.
season, wouldn't you say?
A lot has happened. And I think it took me a while to adjust it to that increased pace.
To the fan fiction.
I mean, yeah, fan fiction being confirmed in this season too. No, but we're used to that method. I'm not going to say slow, but the methodical approach to everything.
Sure.
And I wasn't really feeling the season till about halfway through, and I think that was just trying to get my head around everything's just fucking happening now.
Yeah,
so
because
quick.
time means nothing.
No, but even to the point where the producers said, "We know we're pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, that was
Just bear with us."
okay. Spoilers, of course. So that
I've already
particular
said that.
okay, well, the particular episode where they're like stuck on the island in the ice.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
The way it's cut, it feels like 20 minutes.
yeah, it's 2 days.
But it's about 2-3 days, yeah. And like the producers were like, yeah, we just had to assume that you would take a leap of faith.
They did the maths, and it's like,
And enough
from here
for
to
the
here
eye.
is here to here is here, and then for that to a raven flying this distance from here to here would take this long, and it all works out.
Yeah.
It just wasn't shown.
We
very
know.
well.
And
We don't
because
care.
the ice won't refreeze instantly.
Yeah,
Because when
Yeah.
Hound throws a thing,
Yeah.
like that doesn't happen in 20 minutes. So I guess there's some
fun fact: where they filmed that ice battle scene,
real zombies.
yeah, real zombies. The more you knew. It was a quarry, and they cemented the whole quarry floor to make it like it was thick ice, and then put all fake snow all over it.
Oh, cool.
Damn, that budget.
Yeah, just chill. Well, they should like the finale had 12 million people just in America watch it through actual
Means
means of paying for
to
it.
the HBOs.
You know, imagine how many people watched it around the world, and people who torrented it and everything.
Oh man, the downloads.
Their budget should be quite large at this
Yes.
point.
Every year they say that Game of Thrones is going to one that brings down pirates. Never do it.
Pirates.
Yeah.
As in, like-
people who pirate the show. Yeah.
Oh,
They're
okay.
like,
They're like,
oh, you don't
"Whoa."
download Game of Thrones this year, or you'll get in trouble.
It's all from people that do not
I like
know.
the voice. You gotta get.
Like you're thinking, they're like,
People they don't understand how the internet actually works.
Yeah.
they should be like whoever the all government agencies of the world run by HBO should be like, all right, the last episode of Game of Thrones season 8. We're going to crack down on everyone, and the whole world are going to be in, like, jail.
So, you
Or
know-
get, like, a fine.
This
No,
is
but
this is a
see,
side
Fox,
conversation.
Foxtel have just had a whinge about it. How many people torrented it? So Craig, our buddy, was on the Facebook page while we were recording, saying, all these websites have been blocked because Foxtel whinged about how many people downloaded Game of Thrones. They're going to be back up in like 15 minutes from Sweden instead of Russia.
We tried to actively restrict an entire nation, and
We tried to corner a market and they wouldn't let it.
We don't let anybody else see it, and then they went and saw it.
And then it crashed. There was that time when, I think the first episode...
they're like, we have Foxtel. We're the only place you can see HBO. Size automations.
well, let's just go for the piracy thing. Yeah, Foxtel crashed, and there was the online services where you
Foxtel
watch
Go,
it on
yeah.
Foxtel Go. Yeah, so that went down, and they couldn't watch it. Right,
Yeah.
so people are sitting there waiting, and it couldn't happen. And then HBO and I think like France or somewhere leaked the episode a week
Yeah.
early accidentally.
Yeah, it aired. Like it
And
aired
there's like,
on like a random Wednesday.
and then there's memes like that are like smarter than the pirate. We'll beat the pirates by pirating it ourselves. Well played, HBO.
Onto the show itself, the finale
Black
mostly.
and Pirates.
No one,
Everything is now like descending on Winterfell. Everything is centering there. Daenerys and Jon are on their way up there. Jaime's on his way up there. Sam just got there. All the players are centering on Winterfell now for this big epic. What's going to be 6 episodes in season 8?
Yeah.
And it's cool to finally see all these character interact. Like, that's what this season has been. All these characters meeting for the first time that you never ever thought would be in the same room as each other. It was perfect example was this episode in the
finale,
the dragon arena in the finale. You know, you had the Hound and his brother and Cersei and Daenerys and Jon and Jorah, and all these characters are finally interacting with each other. And
Podrick, Brianna
yeah,
Taff.
Except for Bronn.
Huh?
Because Bronn and Cersei,
Bronn and
they
Lena
don't get
Headey.
along in real life, so they're like
Jeremy, Bronn's name is Jeremy something.
Irons.
No, it's not Jeremy Irons. But yeah, that's, you know how in the Dragon Pit, right before Cersei got there, Bronn says to Podrick, "Come on, mate, let's let the fancy people talk." It's because in either Lena Headey's or Bronn's contract, it says they can't be on the same set together
because they
had a
fucking
rough
hate each
breakup,
other.
and they fucking hate each other.
Oh, they went out together, didn't they?
That's like it's in one of their contracts. They can't be like
Okay.
filming on the set together.
Okay.
That's a quick way to get Bronn out of there. But this episode just had a lot of throwbacks and tie-ins and foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. An example being at the very start when it pans out and all the Unsullieds around King's Landing, and Bronn and Jaime are talking, and Bronn's like, you know, bunch of men with no cocks. Like, what's worth fighting for if you don't have a cock? And Jaime goes, family. And then later on with Theon, no cock, and he's just gone to fight for his family. You know, so it's just these little things.
He plummets some dude's face.
Yeah, really bad. It's
for his
finally, I think that was symbolic of Theon is no longer Reek. That persona is not in there anymore. It's gone, and he's fucking had enough of being, you know, tossed around and kicked and chopped. And not tossing at all, which saved him from like 9 knee dicks.
Yeah, 9 knees to dicks. That Dulcie did good.
9. It's about 3.
Oh, yeah, like 3.
Time doesn't mean anything in the show, so.
But did he lose his dick, not his balls?
I think
That's
that was
all
confirmed
gone.
that it's all gone. Because if balls were still there, he still would have been like, oh.
Yeah, no,
yeah, because like being hit in the dick doesn't hurt, being hit in the balls
It's
hurt.
the dick smushing the balls that hurts when you get hit down there. It's not, yeah.
All right.
In case you weren't sure, Dylan.
The more you know.
What I love about this season and sort of where it's going now is my biggest issue with the first like 5 seasons, and I think we did this like back in the radio. I'm like, how come no one is addressing these fucking White Walkers? There's this army of zombies building on the other side of the wall. Everyone's like, but it's my throne. No, but it's my throne. But like
nobody
but
believes
the point
it.
I'm making is like I've spent this 5 seasons going, where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? And it is here.
Yeah.
Something that was shown in the first scene of episode 1 is finally coming to fruition, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
What did we think of Ice Dragon?
Yeah.
Does it shoot ice? Or is it just blue fire?
It's blue fire. Yeah, it's blue fire.
Okay,
or whatever.
cool. Just want to check.
Was it just me, or does I think it's Viserion. I think that's the dragon that he's
Correct.
reanimating.
I believe that's right.
Does he seem really fucking quick?
Yeah,
Like speedy.
yeah.
Well, he's already
You know what?
decayed.
He was
Dude,
zipping
have you ever
around.
been on ice?
He's not on
He's
ice,
got
he's flying over.
he's
He's
got
part
like
of
ripped wings and stuff. Like they haven't been
Yeah.
taking care of it. You know what I mean?
It's
That's gonna crumble in no time.
Decompose.
I don't know. I think he seemed like he was flying a whole lot quicker than the other dragon.
Well,
Yeah.
Daenerys doesn't know what she's doing, and she's like
The Night
uppity,
King should know what
uppity
he's doing.
self.
I think the best thing
Jon
about
Snow knows what he's doing.
the best thing about the Night King through this season, one, none of them have said a fucking word, and that is so just unsettling.
Yeah, dude, like that. Once again, I'm not rather than being like, wouldn't this moment happen? But like the moment the wall breaks, it crumbles, and the guy just goes
and just
and
starts
steps
walking.
forward.
Like no big deal.
like no like.
But do you remember? Think
just
back
kept
to
walking.
Ooh, nothing.
I think it was last season, the battle for Hardhome, at the edge of the wall where they first encountered.
Yeah.
And
With
they-
the big thing is swaying.
Yeah, and John looks up to the hill and they're just standing there on their horses, just watching, like just looking down. Like
Yeah,
it's
just
so
testing.
unsettling that they don't show any kind of emotion
They're
at all.
cold.
Like when he's lining up the
Oh, I'll give you that. Up high.
The spear.
when he's lining up the spear, his face just doesn't change.
When he does his gold medal javelin throw.
Yeah, dude's cool. But I think it shows that the Night King, I think this whole time, he knows exactly what's going on. Every single time that they've fought or any interaction with them, he has planned everything. He knows the wall. The wall is ice, but it's also enchanted with magic, yeah? That's what they can't pass through the wall. They needed to bring down the wall.
But why do dragons do that?
because dragon's fire is inherently magic.
I didn't think of that.
So the whole time he knows, because everyone's like, why are they taking so long to get there? Why are they taking so long to get to
So they
the
don't
wall?
run.
People are zipping across the fucking country in 3 seconds, and they're not at the wall yet because he knows they can't get through it because of the enchantments.
So they might as well not bother. Yeah.
So he knew he needed a dragon, and everything. Why else in the last episode they all had their swords, but he had the javelins. He knew the dragon. He somehow knew the dragons were coming. He knew they were going to be there, and he knew that was his chance to get one. Everything is planned by this guy. I wouldn't be surprised if
It's
there's
almost
even
like
more...
he can see the past, present, and maybe even the future.
I think
Wink,
wouldn't be surprised if
wink,
he has even more things that we
wink.
just don't know about.
Wink. So I'm just winking.
He's not Bran.
Damn.
So fucking dumb. If anything, this episode showed that Bran is still Bran.
Moments
Because
of it.
so far, when we've
Maybe
seen
it's
Bran...
alternate timeline, Bran.
Don't get into that.
Like time paradoxes and shit.
No.
Yeah.
Like it's Bran's evil brother. Yeah. So when Bran fell out of the window, he separated. Time split into two Brans.
Paralysed and not paralysed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should be thanking Jamie, because without Jamie pushing him, he never would have become
Yeah.
the
Like,
Bran.
if Jamie. Yeah. He wouldn't become the Raven. He would have just become Ice Bad.
May I say, isn't the prophecy that you'll never walk again, but you will fly?
Yeah.
But is that because he's a crow?
No, the prophecy is there can be only one.
3-eyed crow.
What?
That's
Three-eyed
Highlander.
Raven.
But yeah, is that what they
That
meant?
was the prophecy, you will not walk, but you will fly.
So that
Whether
means 3-eyed crow or dragon.
Yeah.
Only one may
Probably
live.
3-eyed crow.
But the interaction,
Potter.
I love Sam for asking the one question that everyone's like, I'm the 3-eyed Raven now. I don't know what that is. Well, thank you. Neither do any of us. And Bran finally explained a little bit of where his powers go and what they can do.
That Sam is such an educated person as well. It makes it even funnier because he knows a lot, and he's just like.
But I love. But
Never heard
it
of that.
showed.
But it shows him as the desire to learn that comes from being a Grand Maester, rather than being like whatever.
cool, yeah.
He's like, I need to know what that is.
But even Bran says something, and Sam's like, "Did you see that in the visions?" And Bran kind of smirks and holds up the Raven letter. There's still actual Bran there that still cares to some extent.
Could he show it when he didn't be like, hey, Sansa, that night you got super raped, looking hot.
Yeah, well done.
But even Sansa was like, she's like, I'm a faceless man. And she's like, what does that mean though?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
But Sansa's asking her like, what does that mean? Like, I don't understand. What does that even mean?
You have
like,
a dirty
explain
bag
it.
of face skin.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm a faceless man. It's like,
I still don't buy how all that works.
Yeah.
Like when she was Walder Frey.
Yeah, Arya's like 3 foot tall.
She's like 3 foot, and Walder Frey's obviously fully grown, and he's filled out and all that. And I didn't.
It's the Mission Impossible mask, is what it is.
I don't
It's like Mission
quite
Impossible,
buy
like Tom Cruise becomes anybody else.
Like I can buy a mask like that from a $3 Halloween shop, and it's all like flappy on my face.
Oh,
And shit.
see, you have
What's
a problem
magic?
with that, but
Come on.
dragons totally cool. But the fact that she can't just put a face on and become a whole different
Dragons
person.
are more grounded in reality than putting people's faces on.
That's also
like
true.
John Travolta did. John Travolta?
Yeah,
it
and
was.
Nick
And
Cage.
Nick Cage. Yeah.
Good film, by the way.
But we've still got a lot of good, like, new interactions to come. Like, Jamie. Well, let's talk about Jamie for a sec. I want to talk about after the meeting where Cersei's like, yeah, we'll go. Yeah, okay, fine, I give in. We'll send our armies up. And it pans to Jamie on the war map with his other lords. He was so into it. He's like, I have something to fight for.
This is what
He's
we're doing.
fully fucking in it. He's planning, and he was all passionate about it and everything. And he looked so genuinely hurt.
But like the exact moment of it's like, all right, we're ready to do this, Cersei. She's like, no, fuck them. Like, wait,
I
what?
said
That's
that.
what I'm
I'm like,
saying.
she's like, it's off. We're not doing any of this shit.
Yeah.
And she literally said that.
And-
word for word.
He,
Like,
we're not doing
ready
this
to go?
shit. Fuck this.
Fuck
Fuck
no.
them.
But yeah, and then you saw he's like, I think that was the moment he was like, she's irredeemable.
Like, you are the
He
worst.
finally sees her for the cunt that she is.
Yeah, like, you are the actual worst.
And then he nearly died, and that's the only time in the episode I was like, fuck.
Yeah, what
Fuck,
was
fuck,
with
fuck,
that?
fuck, fuck, fuck.
Why didn't she kill him? Because he's like...
She
nods.
chickened out on killing both her brothers that episode.
But she nodded to like the mountain, and the mountain just didn't do it. He drew his sword.
It was a bluff. And she's like, no, I'll fucking do it. He's like, oh, I don't believe.
She's like, when he gets here, I'll pretend that you're going to kill him, but don't. He's like, duh. He's like, what?
But yeah, so Jamie's on his way up now to Winterfell.
Yes.
He's going to see Bran for the
By
first
himself.
time.
Can I just that?
By himself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Armorless.
armorless.
Not armorless.
With his
Which
sword.
he's handless.
He's
But
handless. So he'll see Bran for the first time since episode 1, season 1,
Bran
which will be an interesting interaction. Bran won't give a shit. I don't really think Bran will care because
He's
Bran is where he is
Raven.
because of all that.
Ravens don't care.
But we'll also see him meet Daenerys, who Jamie killed her father but she knows her dad was a real right prick.
Right.
Anyway, but Daenerys has been suffering this whole season from a lack of a battle strategist and everything like that. You know, Tyrion tried and he failed, and they lost this army and that army. And who better to lead her armies than Jaime Lannister, who learned from the best army officer man, his dad, Tywin, the best battle strategist that Westeros had probably ever seen. So we know Jaime can, you know, lead armies and do the battle strategy, and he's been doing it all this season, and he's fucking nailed every battle he's been in, except for the one where he fought 10,000 Dothraki streamers.
And the one where he decided to bang it at a dragon.
No, that's same battle.
No, yeah,
he lost
yeah.
that one, but that was not a winnable battle.
No, it's kind of.
And but
not with that attitude.
He's a brave motherfucker, that Jaime. I think he is my favorite.
Stupidity and bravery are very close.
Just everyone's character arcs are really showing now.
Yeah,
you've seen where they started and where they're at, and I love the interaction between the Hound and Brienne when talking about Arya, like proud parents. You know, you left her up there by herself. She'll be just fine on her own. He's just that really slight smirk, like "fuck yeah, girl."
I've seen some shit too.
Well, because they're going to see each other again too. Because the Hound's obviously going to Winterfell as well, and he'll see Arya again. And you know,
technically, he's crossed off the list, so it's like she don't have that anymore.
He died. She considered him dead. So
that's what I'm saying. It's like he's off the list.
Does she know that he's alive though?
No.
Okay.
Not
yes. As far as she knows, he's off the list, and like her beef with her beef with him is done.
Yeah.
So like they'll be able to live somewhat.
Okay.
But do you reckon we'll get? Do you think we will get the Clegane Bowl?
No. We've got 6 episodes left. The big battle has started. The Hound's going north.
There's not enough time to be petty.
The Mountain is still in King's Landing, playing with his zombie dick or whatever he does. So I don't think we're actually going to get.
They're not going to face off.
They teased it. They teased it really well when the Hound walked up to him and he's like, "Hey, you ugly cunt."
So I know you're still in there and you're ugly as fuck.
You're still in there. And it's the wording was interesting. He's like, you know, you're still here. Of course you are. You know what's coming for you. What did he mean by that? That was really cryptic, I thought.
He's like, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you.
Well, if you take it at face value, it's like, I'm going to be the one to kill you. But can you take anything in Game of Thrones at face value? You know? Because we know... Okay,
well, there's many faces.
Theory crafting here, right? The Hound with Thoros in that shack. Thoros like, look in the flames. And you see instantly... The Hound has this connection with the fire, right? He's like, I see the wall and I see this and I see that. As a kid, same thing. He was like looking into the fire and before his brother burned his face. Oh,
I just assumed the mountain was like, huh, and just pushed him in. I didn't know there was a...
No, well, the story the Hound gives is that he was playing with the mountain's toy and the mountain was like, he cooked his brother. But I don't know. I think the Hound has a little bit of like Red Priest history kind of.
Yeah, I think he's a very interesting character, and I think he's probably the most human out of everyone, which is very interesting.
He's our relation to, like he's what we connect with to this world.
He's the everyday man.
He's just the everyday man. Fuck this, fuck that, fuck you, fuck everything.
Yeah, it's like
eat the chickens.
So looking at the flames, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just cut out all this.
I'm gonna do this and that and that. You're a dumb cunt.
Oh, that's dumb. That's stupid. Dumb. Don't do that.
How do you feel about the White Walker reveal? Did you think that would go down well either way?
Well, once again, rather than sort of be like, this is what happened. So like when the Hound removes the lid, nothing happens. I'm like, oh fuck. So when he's like, don't open it as they walked in, like what happened?
Any of you fuckers touch this, I'll kill you.
So what happens is the guy. I was kind of adamant to the last moment that they've opened it and he's gone out, and then the rest of the episode was not them having this meeting, it's them hunting down this fucking White Walker.
Just
losing King.
Or it got out and bit one. When then there's 2, and then the 2.
That's what I'm thinking. So like the idea would be
4.
like, like one's out, and it's like, oh, fuck, they have to scour the gardens.
But how do you turn into a White Walker though? Is it like a zombie where you get bitten?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
But that's
what
cool
I
how
thought.
they cut it in half.
No, I don't think it's not like you get bitten and you become one, because you have to be resurrected by the White Walkers themselves.
But there's certain ones that can do it though.
But the point is, there's dead bodies around it. So like when the
so that
king
single White Walker could resurrect a dead body.
No,
he's a white, not a White Walker.
So the Walkers are the zombies.
The brainless zombies. Okay. The White Walkers are the smart
But
ones.
it's not just the Night King, there's other ones as well.
Yeah, the ones that
his
are
posse.
his posse. The other 3 or 4, or however many there are.
Gotcha.
WWA, Walkers with Attitude.
So what do you think is going to happen then? What is
wild.
the ending going to be? Is it going to be first 3 episodes of fighting the war against the White Walkers, and then the last 3 episodes are going to kick...
I think the whole season is the war.
I think they're going to have to retreat from the north down south because they're getting overwhelmed to the point that they are kind of back towards King's Landing, and that's when everything kind of comes together. I think the first couple episodes will be, taking the fight on the front lines, but they're going to have to fall back at some point, I think.
Do you think that it will have a happy ending?
Yes. Depends what you mean by happy. Do you remember when season 1 launched, the big promo poster was Sean Bean kind of glowering on the Iron Throne?
With his head
It'll be
on.
that exact shot, but Jon Snow sitting on the throne. That exact shot, same pose, everything, but it will be...
That's a good point. Why the hell was Sean Bean on the Iron Throne?
Well, there was a promotional thing. A lot of them were sitting on
just because he's
throne,
the known actor, yeah.
And he was the big actor there. Well, Jon Snow / Aegon Targaryen, as he's actually called.
Let's get to that before we jump into more about the next season. So this is a twist that that we have discussed for a very long time.
It's been a fan theory for a decade.
And
plus.
there's all these things in place that now in hindsight, that was really obvious. But Aegon, though, I believe, wasn't he supposed to have a different name? I remember the theory was that he wasn't supposed to be Aegon Targaryen. That he's already an Aegon Targaryen. That will live. That was, according to the books, at least,
Rhaegar
lives.
had
Aegon, not Rhaegar. My apologies.
Jon Snow's real dad, Rhaegar Targaryen, had another wife and 2 other kids.
Yeah.
And one of those kids was also called Aegon Targaryen.
That's the point, yeah.
But when Rhaegar annulled that marriage, that kid no longer had any claim to the throne because...
No, but the point I'm making is there is already another
Yeah, so
Aegon
one of
Targaryen.
Rhaegar's first son, not to Jon Snow's mum, was also called Aegon.
Yeah.
And then...
But these kids aren't reflected in the show.
No, they're not in it at all.
They don't...
They're just fucking... They
don't exist.
They're probably dead.
Yeah.
At this point. And it's too late to kind of introduce them.
Because this is something I've read into. Because in the books, these characters, they exist and they're still alive. One of them works for the Iron Bank or something.
Yeah, they're doing things, but they're not involved in the main.
In the show, it's
all.
different.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was seen coming and it wasn't unexpected, but it was good to finally hear it. As they're banging.
As I said to you before, when we're in the kitchen, my favorite part is that it cuts to, oh hey, you want to get it on? Yeah, let's get it on. Shut the door, and then it goes to Bran. Bran's like, yeah, he's a Targaryen. Cuts back. It's like, no, he's genuinely a Targaryen. They're totally related.
To be fair, yeah, they're related. Yeah.
Cuts back to Tyrion. He's like, this is really uncomfortable.
But
it's awesome. Loved it.
They're
Great
not
editing.
Like brother and sister. Yeah, she's actually his auntie as far as the family tree goes. So it's not as bad as it could be.
It's not. It's not Cersei. It's not Lannister bad. But
but the Targaryens kept it in their bloodlines.
Yeah, and that's why Viserys was so fucked in the head.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting that Viserys Targaryen, we saw the first ever shot of Rhaegar Targaryen. Very striking similarities. And in the book, it does say Viserys modelled himself after Rhaegar. They had the same hairdo. Looked like the same actor for a second there.
Yeah, it might have even been.
Might have been the same actor because it said they looked Viserys made himself look very, very similar to Rhaegar, which was kind of interesting.
How do you think this will go in terms of where they're at now, in terms of when this is revealed to Jon, to Daenerys? How do you think it will go down?
I think Jon will say it doesn't matter. That's not what I don't care. It'll hit him, obviously. Ned Stark wasn't my real father.
Yeah.
All that.
Do they have
stuff. toothbrushes
in Westeros?
It cuts to the scene from Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
They go, everyone vomits in their mouth a little bit. It's like, oh!
Yeah.
He's in the shower, and the shower's not quite cold enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a conversation Jon had with Theon in this episode about, you can be a Greyjoy and a Stark, and he forgives you. That was a really touching conversation that they had. But the advice Jon gave to Theon, you don't have to choose. You can be both. I think he'll have to take that on himself, obviously. I can be a Stark and a Targaryen.
Well,
and the awkward part is, just like Theon, he'll have to take a knee to the groin.
Yeah. But
as was tradition at the time.
Cut his own dick off. That's not happening again.
But I don't think, as far as, you are the true heir of the Iron Throne, I think I don't give a fuck about. That's not
the
concern.
Do you think he'll
right
forego it and then give it to Daenerys? But how will he sit on the throne at the end?
No, he still will.
Well, they can rule side by side, can't they?
They can rule on top of each other by the looks of it.
I'm just saying initially he'll be like, that doesn't matter right now.
Do you think he wants the throne at all, though?
No, he doesn't.
He'll take it out of honor?
How reluctant is he to be the king of the North?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's
never wanted.
Give it to Sir.
He's never
give it
wanted
to Daenerys.
He can't just give the throne away. It doesn't.
Well,
I'm
pretty sure you can just take it. If you got the power, it's yours.
Yeah, you can take it.
Yeah,
but you can't give it away.
Well, it looks like anyone can just claim it at this point.
Yeah.
Can I have it?
Kind of all over the place.
Um,
John won't care about the whole. You are the real king. He'll be like, I can see the White Walkers like there. We're not talking about this right now.
See, that is one thing that I did like the somewhat plotting nature of the series up until this season. This season is very action heavy. Not certainly not a bad thing. It's just I liked it more when it was kind of like fucking around with the politics of it and all that sort of stuff. I think that was kind of cool.
Well, the thing is, from this season...
Don't get me wrong, like the situation where they're at now has to be action, and it's good.
But this season, we're not getting new characters anymore. We're getting all the OG characters. We know their stories. We know their motivations. We know what they're about and all that. So I don't think there's really much dialogue left for them to have in the way of character building, if you know what I mean. We know all these characters. We've spent years with them at this point, so we don't need the hour-long episodes of just talking and walking from one place to another anymore. I think we know what we need to know, and we know shit's about to get real. But I agree with you to an extent as well.
Who do we lose this season?
Well, I'm pretty sure Tormund.
No, I think
I'm pretty sure he's fucked. That wall kind of fucked.
Eastwatch was an inside job. Get it? 'Cause he's inside the wall as he's like...
Oh, no. So I thought that, because that brings back to the political conspiracy shit. And I'm like, I'm into that. Like, there's White Walker shit going down. Someone's like, no. This is a what is it called? This is a...
Conspiracy.
False flag. This is a false flag. The White Walkers are a false flag. The real conspiracy is Eastwatch. How did they know to attack Eastwatch? How, Jon Snow
Who's the inside man?
Jon Snow sent him there on a purpose. I just love conspiracy theories and people get really dumb about it.
No, we didn't see Thoros and Beric die. I don't think they're actually dead.
Is it Thoros?
Beric and Tormund.
Tormund.
We didn't see them.
I get their names all mixed up. They're all dumb.
Thoros died because he got bitten by the zombie bear.
Zombie.
Which behind the scenes for that episode was really funny because it's just a dude in a green suit with a fake with the zombie head on like puppeteering, and he's like rah 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 rah. And Thoros is like no.
That's really scary. No.
Well, we lost Littlefinger this episode, of course.
Fuck yeah, we did. He got fingered hard.
In the
Do you think it was a waste?
With a sharp dagger.
Like what he kind of perpetuated everything that's ever happened in the series.
It was good for Sansa to mention that too.
Yeah.
All of this is because of you Weasley fuck.
Like there are.
But do you think he went anywhere with his story? Like, what was his goal to achieve?
Chaos.
Did he want the power?
His goal was the chaos.
His goal
He's
was
the Joker of Westeros.
But did he want power himself?
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay.
He wanted the Iron Throne. I don't think that's any. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He wanted it, and everything he did was just to try to get as much power as he could to the point where he could. He steps up. He goes from this to this and that's been his whole.
Maybe Bron's going to be like the actual king because he's working his way up.
Well, what's going to happen at the end of the season? Everyone's dead and it's just Littlefinger's body on the throne. It's like, well, guess he got there in the end.
Zombie finger.
Yeah, zombie finger.
Were you angry with Sansa when she seemed to have ratted out her sister? Do you believe that for a second?
I was like, you dirty bitch.
I was like, I hate you, Sansa Stark.
I didn't.
I was like,
stupid.
I was like, you dirty bitch. Everything
You've never done anything good.
You don't know what she's been. You're okay.
And then she goes, Lord Baelish, and you're like, yay!
I think I literally went.
But easily from day one, you're like, you look shifty as fuck. I don't care if you are or you aren't. You're
it's
dead.
his different
I don't
hair
want you
color
around.
that throws me. Yeah,
it's his little whispers.
Raspier.
Yeah.
Every season.
And probably that also clear shot from like 3 episodes ago where there's a wall and he's like.
Yeah, he's always like that.
It's such an odd shot for Game of Thrones, the whole camera pans away and there's someone like listening in, like, ooh.
Multiple times.
But I think.
But I do like that once again with that shot, it's like it's like Arya going, and then it cuts to the next scene, and then Littlefinger's like.
It's just who can outspy each other.
Yeah, who can out hide in shadows.
But no, I didn't buy that was going to happen, especially with Bran there, all-seeing, all-knowing Bran.
Yeah, I was very curious to be like, why is Bran at the table?
Yeah, and that again goes back to what I said before, is that there is still Bran in there, because otherwise he wouldn't have given a fuck about this, Littlefinger trying to get his sisters to murder each other and whatever. And Bran was there to support the Starks and support his family and kind of, finish that whole thing.
I like, once again, rather than just repeating exactly what happened, it's sort of the idea that, these guys are behind, like, as in all these people are behind the Starks. They're behind, when it's like, I, commander of the Vale, take me there. No.
Not a chance.
Not a chance, bro. You're
I would have loved for Bran to be like, Lord Baelish, I saw when you held a dagger to my father's throat. You looked beautiful. Yeah. But it was a very I think a fitting end for him, and it was pretty graphic in the way of it. Arya just
What I love, it was
shakes
just
him.
the quick. Yeah, it was just that he's like Sans like. Zah!
Yeah,
Like
Sansa,
mid-sen-
please. But he's
very good.
the actor's name is Aiden something. I forget.
He's
the surname.
fantastic.
Gillen, I think it is.
Such a fucking awesome job in that scene.
He was in,
Quantum Break.
and he was also in The Dark Knight
Yeah.
Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. That's right.
He's the one that takes off
Bane's mask.
Bane's mask and he gets the
yeah,
fucking shit
that's
kicked out of him.
Yeah. But yeah, he went from the cocky to the explaining to trying to use his tricks and then just a straight up begging.
A true weasel.
Just it was awesome. Fun fact is that the original Small Council.
Fun fact: they truly killed that man.
Yeah, he's legit dead. The original Small Council back in season 1, it was like Grandmaster Pycelle, Littlefinger.
Yeah, Varys.
Yeah.
Varys is the only one still alive.
What happened to
Pycelle?
Pycelle? When did he die?
Tywin killed him, didn't he?
Oh, can you remember there was that one shot of him being all like, "Oh, I'm all old," and then he's like, "What's that?
Yeah,
I'm
remember
back
he had,
good."
near the waterfront or something, Tywin's like, "Do you take me for an idiot?" Like Tywin's like, "I know, you're not who you say you are," kind
Yeah.
of thing. I'm pretty
Took off his mask and it's Arya.
I'm pretty sure Tywin ended him.
Yeah,
at
probably.
some point. I don't know. Long forgotten character.
Oh
I'd
no!
be
I
very-
think Cersei did something with him when after she was shamed.
Banged him.
Yeah, after she was shamed, she came back and messed him
The
up.
mountain got him.
Yeah.
That's
No.
right.
No.
That seems to ring a bell.
Someone led him down.
Someone got
he
proper
was with
fucked up.
kids, wasn't he? He had like a whole... Qyburn killed him.
Who's Qyburn?
The Cersei's new maester, who made zombie.
Oh
mountain.
yeah.
He got him. He led... Yeah, because they were like
I
bickering.
swear, I still swear the mountain did it. Like in my head, like when Dylan said it, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. But
No, they were...
because the
Josh said
mountain
it, but
did
that's all right.
murder a bunch of people in the name of like.
No,
Love.
because they were bickering, because Grand Maester Pycelle was like, I don't like him, and she's like, well, he's better
Like,
than
well,
you.
I don't like you.
Yeah. Ooh, wizard powers. Whoa.
Do you think Cersei Lannister
Mystery.
is really pregnant?
No,
Oh,
What was that?
I don't think she is.
Pregnant.
Oh, she had poo.
Wouldn't matter if she was anyway, but I don't think she is.
I think she's faking.
I think it'd be a swift, nice piece of irony if she was, and it was a dwarf.
Oh,
Or it's a dragon.
Or it's an egg.
It's a
It's a dwarf, and she dies at birth,
dwarf dragon.
Ah.
and Jamie has to look after it.
I was thinking
It's like a teacup dragon.
the
and
big
then they become
prediction
best
for
buddies.
Jamie was that he would be the one to kill Cersei, and I don't see that happening anymore. See, they're very far apart now.
I think.
I think when he
He'll
gets
end
back,
it.
he'll like.
If they come back,
they're
it's
like,
gonna
oh
be-
my god, the White Walkers! Oh no! Oh look over there!
I think what's going to happen is Theon's
That's what I
gone.
was saying.
The Euron retreating was a fake out, and he's actually going to get 20,000 troops from Essos over
Euron?
the sea. Euron.
urine.
Euron.
Urine like the way.
Urine Greyjoy.
Because that guy's massive cock.
He's awesome.
Right.
I mean, his character sucks, but the way the actor portrays it is really
Yeah,
cool.
it's just that smug
Exactly,
cockishness. I can't
exactly,
fucking
it's
stand
cool.
I like Tyrion where he's just like, who the fuck is
Yeah,
this guy?
exactly.
Why is he
Who the fuck is-
interrupt? Can I start the meeting? Hound.
it. Yeah, dude, that was my
urine.
exact reaction. I'm
Jesus.
like, sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, the
But
fact
to
that
be
you
fair-
have to get up and do this proves that you're not the big man.
But
Yeah.
Cersei was like, sit down. And he did.
Well, it was
So
all
that was-
planned.
Oh, yeah, but, he did anyway.
No, it's just like, yeah. He's
Oh,
like,
you think they planned? She's like, when my brother starts to talk, you get up and you insult him, and then I'll pretend to be like angry at you and make you sit
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
and then you say you're going to retreat, but you're not actually.
Whether they have a real zombie or not, which I don't believe in, we're
Yeah.
still sticking to the plan.
yeah, well, it's a good point. Like, look, there's two options. Either one, they don't have a zombie. Two, they do have a zombie. If they have a zombie, you need to fuck off. And then, like, what was the scenario? Like, what's the, if that was plan Z, because the least likely, like, what was A to Y?
Yeah.
The
Slaughter everyone.
No, as in, like, okay, there's two options. Either we're going to kill everyone or you're going to fuck off and get more people. Like, what are the scenarios that where A, fuck off and get more people?
I think it was a ploy. They would have found ways to work it regardless, just to make Cersei seem weaker.
No, but I
than
just
she is.
sort of mean like that. It's one of those plot points that's convenient. And, like, I'm
Oh
curious.
yeah, it's convenient for sure, but
I'm
I'm
curious
sure.
on like if that was in fact planned, because this is when you break down shows unnecessarily. Like, were they sitting at a table? They're like, "Here's what we need to do." If A, if this happens, then this. If B, this happens. If C, you need to yell at Tyrion. But if C doesn't happen, then you need to. It's a choose your own adventure book.
Anyway, this is Theon's big redemption coming.
Fuck yeah, it
because
is.
he's off to save his sister from Euron. Whether she's dead or not doesn't matter.
Do you reckon he'll take the axe with him? As in, like,
Axe?
Theon will murder him and then take the fucking axe with all the
That'd be cool. Anyway,
Or he kills him with said axe. Ooh.
So Theon will get him. He'll kill him. That's his big redemption. And to top it off, he'll take the 20,000 troops that Cersei's bought, and he'll bring them north to help.
Because they don't know. They're mercenaries. They still got
they don't
paid.
know.
Who cares?
They got paid. They're just going where they're fucking told, yeah? So he'll catch Euron, kill him, get there, take the troops, take him north. And Cersei's paid all this money for nothing. And then the Iron Bank will be like...
And this episode's gone super long. So do you guys want to... We'll do quick thoughts and then you guys can finish off with the last bit of the show?
Sure.
I'm a bit worried that next season's only going to be 6 episodes, but I've read quite a few times that each episode is going to be an hour and a half / 2 hours long.
My concern is the fact it's not to 2019.
I'll just make it all the better.
Because they don't know what they're doing, and they're going to take a year in the writer's room to be like, what are we
I'm
going to
pretty
do?
sure at this point they know exactly
I think
what
it's all
are we gonna
post-processing.
do?
It's like, we've got all this budget. Because like the Game of Thrones budget has a finite date. And they're like, let's fucking spend every cent of this on that dragon's ball bag. You know, and it's like high definition dragon nut.
Maybe they've recorded all of the next season, but yeah, it's all putting in.
I'd say it's all post.
added
Or
effects
a good solid amount of it is post.
One last thing, the final shot of the walkers going through the wall
Apparently looks like a wolf.
and the dragon flying over is almost shot for shot the Wrath of the Lich King World of Warcraft trailer at the end of it. It is. I've got screenshots like side by side. It's almost exact.
So Dylan, what do you think of this season and where Game of Thrones is going?
I have a very important question.
Yes.
When the Unsullied are all standing there, where do they poop? Like, how many soldiers are there?
How do you feed that army?
I know I got off the feeding, but I'm like, yeah, but where do they poop? Like, do they just poop in the field and then like they're all standing there and poop?
They got trenches at the back.
Oh, good idea.
Maybe.
I'm excited.
The Unsullied, they sullied their pants. That's not the correct term.
They are
Now they're
sullied.
just called the Sullied.
Yeah.
I'm
We are the
excited.
John Sullied.
Separate into 2 groups: the Unsullied and the Sullied. All these ones have shit their
Step
pants.
over there.
These ones haven't.
They just fling shit across the walls. I don't know if like it'll be a happy ending or they're like, all right, it's season final. We're just gonna kill off everybody. Every episode, 2 people go, 2 people go, 2 people go, and just like ridiculous deaths.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is one episode next season where we lose like 10 people that have been around
Just
since
to,
start.
just destroy
Just
you.
to really, one, show the stakes, and 2, really start culling back everyone.
Well,
You
it's
know,
really dropped back in the fanfiction saga where they're like, we've got these awesome characters, we want them to meet each other. They haven't really killed off that many people as consistently as Game of Thrones is known for.
not this season, though. I think
Or even last season.
I think we'll lose them all pretty quickly next season. There's going to be a lot of like really hard to watch TV.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Dylan. I think I personally wanted to end on a down note, only because the show has been predominantly a series of down notes, and I think that's
We're
sort
due
of.
for an up note, though.
Well, no, I think there will be an uprising when they win, but then they realize that everything's still on fire or something. You know, as in like, because we're left. So very rarely do we get like a sweet comeuppance, and almost all shows end on like a happy note. I want it to end on a fucking downer.
I don't think it won't be happy, but it'll at least be bittersweet.
Yeah,
Like,
okay,
we got
that's
there in
correct.
the end.
Okay, I will use that. I would
But
say
at what
I'd much
cost
prefer it to
kind of a
fall
thing.
on a bittersweet ending.
Whether it is, you know, like I said, the shot for shot of Jon sitting on the Iron Throne like Ned Stark was, but everyone else is dead. Like, you know, Daenerys is gone, you know, the Starks are all gone, and he's alone. And it's like,
Him and
well,
Bran.
he's there. Him and Bran.
Yeah, him and Bran,
Fuck, I hate
and with
you.
Bran, it's like it's just like talking to the wall.
He says Bran like, fuck, I hate you. And Bran's like, I know.
So no,
You're beautiful when you hate me.
You're beautiful.
I've never seen it. Like, yeah.
I want to see Ghost. We haven't seen him all fucking season.
Yeah.
It's really annoying too.
Yes, I think it'll end on a nice downer. This season I thought was fantastic. There's a lot of really cool set pieces. Like there was a clear change in how the series was shot. Like there were a lot of different non-Game of Thrones editing used and to sort of
The
different
first shots
angles.
of Sam at the
Like Sam with that weird supercut.
yeah,
That's super.
He had a montage, alright? Jeez, get over
Yeah,
it.
it's weird. I think it was great. I'm really keen to see more. I'm sad to see it go in the same way that I was sad when Breaking Bad ended, same way when Prison Break ended, but then came back. And then I was sad, you know, with like Sons of Anarchy, like all these shows I loved and I spent 7 to 8 years watching. Like it's bittersweet to see it end.
The thing is, you know, it is going to end, but they have. I know you're going to say boo, but they have done talks of, you know, spin-off series and all that kind of stuff. But there is so much more history to this world and so much cool things we haven't seen. You know, one of the talks for one of the spin-off series I think was Robert's rebellion. We get to see young Robert Baratheon with his warhammer and his like antlered helm just fucking mashing people. You know how he said back to Ned back in season 1, like, gods, I was strong then. I want to see that. I want to see him just messing people up with his
I do and I don't. It's in the same vein of, like, speaking of Sons of Anarchy, like, there was an article that came out a couple of weeks ago that, like, yeah, we're making a spin-off series. I'm like Walking Dead has a spin-off series, which is like, you know, Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, but Walking Dead was never really that good.
But you know what I mean? Like, the whole idea is, like, I think if you can have a self-contained story, like, even when they announced Better Call Saul, I was, you know, the spin-off to Breaking Bad, I was like, but it's so separate. And how that show is focused and how that show is ran is so noticeably different. But you couldn't do that with Game of Thrones.
Oh, I wouldn't turn my head away at a spin-off.
I would totally watch it.
I'd totally.
I would complain the whole time, but I would watch it.
Yeah.
Can I leave now?
Yeah, you can leave
now.
Now
Bye
if you
now.
want. Okay, Ryan's gone. We're going to wrap up the show now because it's going extremely long.
Yes.
As we get into our closing segments.
So we'll leave questions for this week because we've been talking about Game of Thrones for quite some time.
Yeah, we have.
But make sure to send in questions for next week.
Where can I do
to
that,
answer
Dylan?
all sorts of things. You can go to
www.thepopculturists.com/questions. I swear, we normally answer them, but when Game of Thrones is the main topic, we tend to...
Come on, guys, Game of Thrones.
Get over-exaggerated a little bit.
So coming out this week, this release is Hitman's Bodyguard. The Hitman's Bodyguard.
That's
the only
funny.
big
Is
one.
that Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds?
That is correct.
Is that the one?
Yes. So
What-
Ryan Reynolds is a bodyguard, and he ends up with this guy, like, you got to protect this guy, and then he opens the door and it's like, ugh, it's Samuel L. Jackson, and he tried to kill him like 7 times or something.
Okay.
They've got this history. They hate each other, but they've kind of buddy cop team up to kind of survive.
Sound like a good popcorn movie?
It does look quite funny, and
Yeah.
it looks like a lot of fun. Samuel L. Jackson's awesome. Ryan Reynolds is awesome.
Are we
Them two
having
riffing.
a Ryan Reynolds renaissance? Like, you know how we had the what do you call it?
Reconnaissance?
The reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Because, you know, Ryan Reynolds, you know, you got back to the Van Wilder days and all
Yes,
that.
yes.
Really got his name out there, and then there was kind of this and that in between, and you know, really kind of up and down, and then you know, Deadpool came out, and he's right back up there.
Well,
again.
there was a time when he was doing like Two Guys, Girls, and Pizza Place. Two Guys, Girls, and Pizza Place.
Yeah.
And it kind of was going the Chris Pratt route, where he was this comedic actor on TV, and then he had a star role, and Green Lantern was going to be the big one,
Yeah.
and then that died, and it kind of like he lost it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deadpool, awesome, perfect choice for that actor to the character. Deadpool 2's coming out, and now this one. He seems to do these movies in between. There's a lot of, like, you know, where he has spare time to do these things. You got the big tempo ones, and then these little ones that go under the radar. It seems a lot like that other movie. I think it's called Safe House with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And they had that lot of back and forth kind of thing. It seems more like a Saturday night movie to me. Like if it's on TV on Saturday night, or you're just on what's come out recently on DVD, you know, from the video store, aka Netflix or whatever it might be. Whack it on, have a good time. I don't know if I'll seek it out, but it does look
But
like
if
good
you're
fun.
bored one night, you might go check it out.
Yeah, and I did really enjoy it, and I'd be like, hey, you should watch that, but I'm not going to seek it out.
I'm sure you'll let us know if you do see it.
I will. I certainly will. But that's been Popcorn for this week. Where can you find us, Josh?
Oh yeah, we do the spiel at the end too, don't we?
Yeah, just in
Always
case people have
forget.
forgotten.
You can reserve your seats for this show every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We have a Facebook community group at facebook.com/groups/thepopculturists. You can submit questions to this show, www.thepopculturists.com. We do normally answer them, I promise. And if you happen to like what we do, please head over to patreon.com/thepopculturists. Check out the tiers there. There might be something there that interests you.
And that, for this week, is a wrap.
Are we meant to say our names at the end?
Yeah, they know who we are.
They know who we are.